This is the Blitz here on the Nittany Lions Sports Report. Bob Long, Tyler Galehouse, and we're going to talk about the wide receiver core with the help of the whiteboard here and why KJ Hamler is an unbelievable wide receiver to have on the inside, and why, while maybe he's earned the right to be labeled as that number 2 or number 1 wide receiver, why it's very important that he's inside. So we're going to put KJ Hamler out here, and Brandon Polk on the outside here, and Juwan Johnson here. Now, when we first started our Blitz segment and we did the depth chart to begin the Penn State football season, we talked about how it looked like Hamler was going to be on the outside opposite Juwan Johnson. And I think we were surprised by that when we saw it, and we found out later that wasn't going to be the case when they kicked off against App State. And it's a good thing that that wasn't the case, because he's purely bred, I think, at this point in his career for being on the inside. There's one particular play that I want to talk about in the Pitt game. It wouldn't have hit the big stats or anything like that. It wouldn't have hit the highlight reels. But KJ Hamler outside or inside with Brandon Polk on the outside simply ran a go route and went straight down the middle of the field at full sprint. So he took a nickel back because it was a 4 wide receiver set. So they had an extra defensive back out there, did Pittsburgh. And he drew this safety here. So now Brandon Polk's cornerback, with his speed, the only option that this cornerback has is to give a little bit more space for Brandon Polk to, for the wide receiver, because if he blows by him, there's no more safety help. So what does Brandon Polk do? A little hitch route right here, catch, dive forward for about 8 yards. That is play design from Ricky Ronnie, and specifically great execution from KJ Hamler with a lot of physical skill sets to go along with it. Then KJ Hamler, when he's on the inside, provides a big-time presence and the ability to come across the field and take a handoff. So Trace McSorley here takes the snap. Hamler is in motion, takes the give. At this point, Juwan Johnson, and this is a lot of what James Franklin was talking about in his press conference this week. Hamler takes the ball. Johnson comes and commits to the run blocking down the field, and Hamler takes off. His ability to get down the field, his ability to make guys miss, and his speed makes him so important, and achieving that from the slot position is really the best way to utilize him there. The last one is that KJ Hamler, quite simply, it has an ability to get into the secondary and into the linebacking core and beat less athletic guys. So Polk is going to be taking on the second corner. Juwan Johnson is going to be taking on the top defender. KJ Hamler has that special ability, much like you saw with some of the smaller receivers with the New England Patriots and similar teams in the NFL, to just work his way into the middle of the football field and get lost. And Trace McSorley, with his accuracy, is able to hit KJ Hamler down the middle as he gets in between the linebackers or in between the linebackers and the safety. And that's what you saw when Hamler scored that touchdown, receiving the football in the second half. So, Hamler creates things for other guys. Brandon Polk, we talked about that, taking a safety because he's running right up the middle of the field. We talked about the jet sweep and his ability to make moves in the into the secondary and take the help of guys like Juwan Johnson, who are committed to run blocking. And then, of course, his ability to just create space in the middle of the field. He's so good. And, oh, by the way, he's a half-decent kick returner as well. Penn State's got a special one with KJ Hamler, and that is the focus this week on the Blitz. We'll take a break and come back on the other side. This is the Nittany Lions Sports Report live on BLS.